right. What's going on, Chain Gang? How we doing tonight? How's everybody's projects going? What are you working on? Today was a day. I'll give you that much. I'm tired. I just got fed, so I'm feeling a little bit better, but it was not. What do you call it? It was just chaotic. There's nothing wrong with today. Nothing bad happened. Just busy. Getting into the flow of my new job. Getting that started. So, not used to it. I'm used to just doing whatever I want. Which actually, if I think her name's Manda Tory Viewing. One of my TikTok followers and I were having a discussion the other night, and I feel like I need to explain something. So if she pops in, I'll reiterate this. But I had said that for the last 2.5 years, I've just been chilling in my pajamas at home, and she asked if I was depressed, and I went on a long rant about one time when I was depressed. It was 2019, and my mom passed away. I got a divorce. I lost a job. I hit a deer, and I got really sick. Right? So that was a rough time. And I don't know why I didn't realize what she was asking. She was asking if I had been depressed in the last 2.5 years. No, I had been retired. I had left work, and I was chilling at home, doing my thing. So, if she comes back in there, I will reiterate that to her. But that is the difficulty of reading people's text comments and having no nuance with what they say, which is why I don't argue with people online. It's like, I'm going to read that in the worst way possible and try and make you feel bad for saying that to me, is how I feel everyone reacts. Excuse me. All right, so hope everyone's got a craft for arts and crafts time. Time to tell your children to go in the other room and, I don't know, read a book or something while you work on your cosplay or some leather work or even your chainmail, right? So we are making a moderately sized chainmail jelly cube here. And it's coming along. I don't know if we have enough rings to finish. I've got what's left in this lid and what's left in this coffee cup. And as you can see the bottom of it. We're cutting it close. And I am tonight on Twitch. No. What platforms? I'm on Twitch, but it's the normal horizontal display. On Facebook and X, I've got a vertical display going. If you want a different view. And I'm trying that out. I'm testing that out. It's a cool feature that Streamlabs offers that I've never tried before. Twitch, it's always... Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Twitch is always vertical. YouTube is always vertical. I wish that I knew how to pay attention to my YouTube channel. I've got almost 100 followers on there, which is cool. But it's not a lot. And if I did a little bit more, if I focused on it a little bit more, I think that I would do better. But I'm out of time for everything, so maybe one day in the future I will kick that off a little bit more. But YouTube is, I've been using it as a library to kind of document these projects as I make them. And so I kept that orientation horizontal. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe a vertical display will be more easy for people to view and they'll enjoy it more. I don't know. But it is a cool feature that Streamlabs rolled out a long time ago. And if I could get a TikTok stream key, I would stream vertically on TikTok, but for some reason they're not going to give me one. I don't know why. I joined the Creator Fund in the hopes that they would give me a stream key, and nothing's happened so far, so we'll see what happens. But for anyone watching, my name's Sean. I run mailworks.com. I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories, and I make chainmail, and I make a lot of it. Do I have Mithril? Mithril. Mithril is the legendary chainmail forged by the elves in the Tolkien universe. That is basically stab proof. It's probably like lore accurate to call it bulletproof, I would think. I don't know. Bullets have a tendency to shatter when they come up against an impenetrable object, so it's like, yeah, the mithril shirt stops a projectile, but you know, you're gonna get a lot of what is it called? Not ricochets. It's called fragmentation in your face. Black Hebrew, how you doing? So, no, I don't have anything that strong, but I do have a couple chainmail shirts and a motorcycle vest covered in chainmail. It's a shrapnel. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. English is my first language. I've got 3 shirts, 4 technically, and my motorcycle vest is covered in chainmail. It's a leather vest with chainmail over the top. And if I ever go down, if and when I go down, I hope it's in the evening, late at night, and someone has a camera on me so we can see the sparks fly. Arguably, I'd rather not go down at all. But when you're riding motorcycles, it's a matter of if and when. I've been down once before. I don't think that I'll avoid going down again in the future. I just hope to survive the next time going down as well as I did the first one. First one, I sprained my wrist and then went and took an algebra test. I was in college. And turns out the clutch had broken when I went down. And I didn't realize it. And I kept riding the motorcycle. And as I rode, I went to go shift, and my clutch pedal was like dangling off the bike. I was like, "Oh, that's bad. I should not proceed." Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. So, all right. This cube is almost done. And then I have this bronze and stainless steel one here that I'm working on. Right? And I've got the rings coming in to finish it. So they're on the way. So that's the next thing I got to finish. And I have a bunch of other projects to finish up. So, and we'll see how much I can get done while working full time. So it's going to be a challenge to work full time and stream and get a lot of progress done on these projects, period. Right? Just because chainmail takes a long time. So it sucks, but it is what it is. How much to eat the cube? If you pay me $5,000, you can do whatever you want to the cube. You can eat it. You can fire a projectile at it. I won't care. For 100,000 likes, on the video I make of this cube when it's finished. I'll call up the guys from Ballistics High Speed and see if we can't ship this off to them to fire a projectile at it. But there's no amount of money to get me to attempt to eat this. Well, no, you know what? How much for me to eat it? Yeah, I'm thinking about that right now. Let's see here. It's got to at least cover the dental bill. So, what does the willingness to debase myself cost? That's really the question we're asking here. Would I spend 120 some odd hours making a cube and then eat it on camera? It's a lot. I'd have to think about it. Like, let's set some parameters here. Like, I'm not going to do it for 1 million, but I'd probably do it for 10, right? So if we're going to ballpark it, let's say 8.5. I think 8.5 million is a good number. Eat the cube, get my teeth fixed, make a really weird video. Everything has a price, including my dignity. But no, I don't want to eat this cube. That was a running theme though. When I first made a smaller cube, actually, I made some videos of it and they took off, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, you should fire a projectile at it." It's like, "Oh, that's so soothing. I want it. It's so calming." And it is. It's a big, tactile, hefty chainmail cube, right? But another running theme in that comment thread was, I want to eat it. I want to bite it. And I don't know where that stems from. It was weird. So, of course, I played into it and made a video biting it. And fortunately, there was like, Deadpool Scan, how you doing? James, how you doing? What brand of pliers? Okay, so these are Xuron 483 blunt nose, and these are Xuron 487 chisel nose pliers. Watch out for these. These will bite you bad. Right? And these are a new release. The old Xurons look like this. These are both 483 blunt nose, I think is what they're called. Excuse my sinuses. Yeah, it just says 483 on there. Love these. These are great. The padded handles are, if you have large enough hands, in my opinion, they're superior. These are newly released by Xuron. The ones I have were a demo copy I got from the manufacturer before everyone else, and I've been working with them. Thank you, Melissa. I've been working with them for 3 months now, something like that, and I love them. Much love, positive vibes, and concern. Right back at you, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. Loving life, feeling human, and staying on top of that luck. There you go. Melissa, what are you up to tonight? Thank you for the dinos. So, if, what is the website? Is it xuronplus.com? New, there you go. XURONPL. It's something like this. There we go. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so if you go to xuronplus.com. XURON. Not much, just scrolling. This looks cool. Well, thank you. I'm not from Wisconsin, but I live here. If you go to xuronplus.com, they have the pre-order available. There's like 3 weeks until they ship these out. All models. And if you don't want to wait, in the link tree in my bio, there is a bunch of plier recommendations in the little Amazon affiliate shop I have listed at the top there. Of pliers that the chainmail community has recommended over the years. Why are words so hard tonight? You're in Milwaukee? I am in southeast, just north of Illinois. But I moved up here from Texas about 9 years ago. So I'm not from Texas either. I was just stationed there and ended up staying there for a few years. Do you make your own rings, make your chainmail? No, not right now. I did when I first started 28 years ago. And then I stumbled across theringlord.com. And they made really higher end quality rings than what I could make myself. And so I've been ordering rings for a long time. Thank you so much, Sean Press. The size you've gotten. Do you work with steel or aluminum? This is aluminum. I work with a lot of steel. Like, here's a stainless steel dice bag. All my jewelry is stainless steel. This is a stainless steel guitar strap that I'm working on. I prefer to work with stainless steel. But these rings were made for me by a friend to make the perfect cube size or to make the perfect cube. And I was going to make a bunch of smaller ones, but I already had a large chunk made. And I just kept building it up. So I'm hoping to get to a 15 by 15 by 15 row cube on each side. Nice haircut. Thank you. But Walter Matthau. Oh, I miss that guy. So I did make my own rings before. I coiled all my rings and hand cut them. And the cuts are hand cut. The closures are what they are, you know. And I could not produce the quality of rings that other chainmail manufacturers could. And over the last 28 years, we've gone from the Ringlord to several, I think there's about 15 or 16 different chainmail manufacturers who make rings out for chainmail, right? So, I order all my rings right now. I will make my own rings again in the future just because it's cost effective, but I plan on investing in a much higher quality setup than what I have now. I will have a saw cut setup at my house for titanium and stainless steel and whatever else I need. Brass, bronze, copper, all those fun things. But as of right now, I order all my rings just because the chainmail suppliers make a higher quality ring than what I can make myself. So, do I have issues with Ringlord steel rusting? No. If you order mild steel from them, it'll rust. That's just mild steel. You got to protect it. You got to oil that stuff up. But no, I've never had anything from them rust, and I've used a lot of their stuff. So how many rings will I use to make this cube? This cube should have 18,299 rings when it's done. Now, the question is, do I have 18,299 rings? Well, I've got 3 more layers for this. Each layer is over 600 rings. So that's 1,800 rings. So I've got to finish these 2 sides here. and I have what's left in this lid and what's left in this coffee can. So we're really cutting it close. But that is the number of rings. It's like problems I've had with the Ring Lord are burrs on the rings that were not tumbled away, dirty rings, and it's kind of, you get what you pay for a lot of times, because they are like the cheapest for the largest number of rings, and they do a lot of wholesale stuff. And they've changed hands and quality dropped for a little bit. I think it's coming back. I haven't had much of an issue with new stuff produced. We're about to find out here in a little bit, as I ordered the last little bit of stainless steel for this cube, this bronze and stainless steel cube here. And so they refilled it. So those are the new rings, and I ordered some. So we're going to see if the quality is up to par, right? For their new stuff that they're manufacturing. And a lot of the older projects that I'm trying to finish up were made with rings from the Ring Lord. So in order to try and match everything up, I try and stick with the Ring Lord for those projects. And then when I'm done with them, I want to move on to other suppliers, because there's a lot of other chainmail suppliers out there, and all their products are a little bit different quality, and I want to explore that more. I've never ordered from Chainmail Joe, though I want one of their beginner kits. I've never ordered from Metal Designs, but I hear really good things, and I know that the former owner of the Ring Lord is working with them in their manufacturing process. I don't know all the details, like what all he's involved in, but he was helping them out. I don't know if he still is or not, but I've heard great things about Metal Designs. The stuff I've got from We've Got Mail, Maille. Thanks for sharing live. I appreciate it. Has all been pretty good. No complaints from me. But it wasn't rings. It was like findings. I ordered like some clasps from them or something. So I haven't had a chance to explore other suppliers the way I would want to in order to give like an honest review. But one day. Sooner rather than later, I hope. Though I was hoping for a lot by the end of this year, and none of that happened, so we'll see. Thank you for the follow, appreciate you. But yeah, once I'm done with this backlog of projects I have laying around. Oh, another, someone I have ordered a lot from that I recommend, definitely for stainless steel, is joshuadiliberto.com. And if you're like trying to write any of these down, I've already done that for you. In the link tree in my bio, the second link should be the Mailworks web app. So you don't have to download anything. You just go and open it up. And inside are lists of suppliers, tool recommendations, where to find other chainmail artists, where to find tutorials, all the stuff I could pack in there. More to come. I got to sit down and hash everything out. I was hoping to get the icons redone and this cube finished before I started the new job, but obviously that didn't happen. So you're saying you're quite metal. I try to be. I started a clothing line around chainmail weaves, right? And I've got some of that on the way, so I'll be wearing those on stream soon. But yeah, for the last 28 years, outside of nursing, that's my day job when I'm working. Chainmail is the only other thing I'm really good at. Because I have a lot of practice. Not because I have a natural inclination to be good at it, but... And it's always challenging. There's always something new to learn. One of the things I want to do later on is there's a lot of kits out there that people have with tutorials on weaves that I've never tried. So I'd love to have like JoshuaDiliberto.com has a Weave of the Month club. So I'd like to subscribe to that and put together weaves online or weaves on stream. That'd be fun. You're good at chainmail and what else? Nursing. I'm an okay dad. I'm not good at much else. Yeah, I'd like to put together some kits on stream. We'll get there eventually. Those won't be nearly as big projects. Oh, boring. Shut your face, you. Chainmail is anything but boring. Granted, this isn't quite the project to try and grind through. So, it does get a little old after a while when you're on your 15,000th ring. Just kidding, I saved your knee. I did save your knee. Astrid, how you doing? I'd tell you the story about Renee's knee, but it's pretty gory. And the last time I tried to talk just about my time in Iraq, TikTok shut me down. So, no gory stuff. Finally done with fair. It's bittersweet. Right on. Congrats on getting through it. Hope you had fun. Yeah, I'll bet the ending of that is bittersweet. It's got to be a ton of fun, and then it's over, and really stressful, but really rewarding. So you're glad it's over, but also it was a good time. Just a whirlwind of emotions when something like that wraps up. The only thing I can relate it to is The Music Man. Now you rest. There you go. When I was but a lad, my mother was doing something where she ended up on the crew of a production called The Music Man. Now, if you don't know, The Music Man is a musical about a con man that goes to town and then, convinces everybody to buy instruments and then successfully turns them into some kind of marching band or something. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie, and longer since I've seen the play. But many nights I would be sitting as the cast was practicing their production, waiting for my mom to get done doing her part. And I remember her going through just like this withdrawal once it was all over. After the last show. What's funny is some of the kids that were on the cast, I'd gone to church with or something. I don't remember where I met them. Their last name was Warenga. I don't know what kind of name that is, but there was an older sister, a boy my age, and a younger sister, and they went to a private school where, in order to graduate, you had to learn a circus act. So, I don't know, you could go learn to be a lion tamer or something. But I think the focus was on acrobatics and trapeze and high wire stuff. I didn't get the details, or if I did, I don't remember them. But these three Warangas had all learned to juggle at their private school. And the point was, it's like, if you graduated the school and you couldn't find work or you didn't like what you were doing, you could always run away and join the circus. I'm not making that up. That was like part of the tuition. So you had to learn a circus trick, circus act. I'm going to be the bearded lady. That's what I would have done. So that in order to survive out in the real world, if you didn't like it, you could run away and join the circus. Which there was another kid there who, I don't remember who he played in the musical, if he was cast or crew or whatever, but he drew very cool colored pencil portraits. And he had like Audrey Hepburn and Marilyn Monroe and I don't remember who else. Tom Selleck or something. You wish more places did something like that, but with trade? Yeah. Yep. Learn a trade. So if you don't like college, you can run away and join the trades. Which, as I understand it, talking to tradespeople, it's a lot like the circus. So, what size is the cube now? I'm on, well, it's 15 wide by 15 long, and I'm on layer 13 is done. So this is the bottom, or row 13 is done. This is the bottom layer of row 14, and it's roughly 4 3/4 inches on each side. I don't know what it weighs. We should weigh it real quick. The end weight should be 3.79 pounds. No, 3 pounds, 7.9 ounces? Or 3.79 pounds. I don't remember. I guess I should weigh it. But yes, if you graduate college and you don't like what you're doing, go get a trade. I told my son, it's like, look, you're going to graduate high school. Then you're going to go learn to weld. And then you can go to college or whatever. Or become, go learn to be an electrician. Something. Because what my parents did was, they told me, you're not going to college. Okay. I didn't have any intention of going to college. I'm from a small rural town. Nobody went to college out there. Actually, a lot of people did, just not me. Right? Don't drop. Got a bunch of paperwork up there. So, my parents said, you're not going to college. And that was it. That was my life plan. There was no advice on what to do in the future. We are at 3 pounds, 5.5 ounces as of right now. So we're close. And I think it's 3 pounds, 7.9 ounces. So almost exactly 3.5 pounds. When it's done, I think is the end weight in the math that I did the other day. So, my son is young, and I have impressed upon him that, college is all well and good, but a degree is not what it used to be. I fortunately fell into nursing, and I was going to go be a mechanical engineer. Then I found out that you don't go to the University of Texas at San Antonio to become an engineer. And I was like, okay, screw this. This is dumb. Let me go finish up my nursing degree. I wasted about a year of school. And it's like that has like, I cannot recommend that anyone join healthcare ever. It's not a field I recommend going into. But it has provided me with employment when I needed it. So, and there's all kinds of things to do in nursing, like home health. The degree has always been a joke. It's a system to entrap you. I don't think it was always a joke, but I definitely think that it certainly is now. So, your STEM fields are always going to be needed. And there are a lot of useless degrees that you can get. And not that the degree doesn't have anything to contribute to society, but I know people who have $200,000 film degrees and they've never made a movie. Meanwhile, a bunch of people on TikTok got a phone camera and started making a bunch of skits. And they have more success and knowledge about making movies than someone who spent $200,000 to get a degree from, like, Columbia or something. So, if you leave college and you cannot pay for your tuition with 1 year's salary of the job that you got a degree in, then that's a real problem. And, of course, the exponential growth rate of administration in college, like pencil pushers on college campuses that don't teach, they're in the admissions office. That's, what do you call it? Catastrophic. Have a degree and can't find a job to save your life? I know. I know. I think, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, there's definitely, like, you can definitely be too educated. You have a degree in animation, haven't been able to do anything with it? Nice. See, now that seems like something that could be useful. Like, you could take that and just run with it. And I say that as someone who has no idea what is involved in animation. I was never able to successfully take a Post-it notepad and make one of those little cartoons that people draw. I don't think that the little jumping jack guy, the stick figure jumping jack guy that you flip through the Post-it notes on. Hi, babe. Guess kind of use it with filming content, but nothing paid consistently. Yep. I think a lot of people find themselves in that boat. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, if you get a degree and, like, there's a disconnect between jobs and college, right? When I graduated, there wasn't like a hospital accepting students from the school I graduated from. There's Jeep and Jammer. How you doing, buddy? There's definitely a fracture in the structure of employment. There's a fracture in how we've built out the degree to employment pipeline. It's like, yeah, you can go get this degree, and then, like, I have a friend. He has a history degree. He specialized in Middle English, I think is what he got his master's in or something. And he makes cedar garden beds. You know? Better? You're doing better? That's good to hear. I'm doing all right. Jeep and Jammer's had quite the year. So I'm glad to hear that you're doing better, buddy. I'm doing better. I had a chaotic day. Oh. So dropped my kid off at school. Came home, got dressed to go to work. Went out. Shadowed a speech pathologist for an hour. And then came home. So I basically just stood there while she did her thing with her patient. And that was it. And then I came home and I did death by PowerPoint stuff for a few hours. Went and got my kid. And had to take my truck into the shop because my truck has a check engine light. And I go to my brother-in-law. And his shop's about 45, 50 minutes away. So 45, 50 minutes there, 45, 50 minutes back. We didn't get back home until about 6:30. I left, went and got everyone McDonald's, and we had dinner, and now we're here. And I know what you're thinking. Why are you driving an hour to get your vehicle worked on? Surely there are mechanic shops nearby. Well, dear viewer, the one mechanic shop I've taken my truck to here in town tried to tell me that the flywheel which is the big wheel that your starter hits. So your starter hits the flywheel, rotates the flywheel, gets the truck going. They tried to tell me that sometimes those things just fall apart. And I was like, no, that's not what happens. What had happened was they had installed my starter wrong and it chewed up the flywheel. So I can't take my truck back to them. I don't want to deal with, I don't know enough about vehicles to defend myself against someone who's trying to take advantage of me. Used to have a code reader for vehicles, but you haven't seen it since the fire. Oh no. Anyway, so yeah, I don't trust the mechanics around here. No, we're not. We're wondering, stop doing that square and learn mechanics. No. Since they added computers to cars, I'm not comfortable working on them with my limited mechanical knowledge. It's like, I can change my own oil, I can change my own tire, my own spark plugs on a vehicle that allows you to have access to the spark plugs. I can time a distributor cap, I can, I don't know, reseal my oil pan, replace a gasket on my oil pan. Just dropped $500 on tires. Now you need new brakes. Yeah, I don't know how to do brakes. I've never ever done brakes. It's one of those things that I think I helped my dad change the brake line fluid once in my vehicle. Not even in his vehicle, actually. So it's like growing up. in a rural area. You would think that I would have more knowledge mechanically. But I grew up in town in a rural area. I was not a farm kid. All my friends were farm kids. And I was going to the ag class, the agriculture class, and then the shop class and welding. I was doing all that. And then I changed schools, and the school that I moved to did not have those classes available because they were already full. So that was my like one route towards learning more mechanical stuff, and it just never happened. Brakes are easy on your Jeep. You can do it in 15 minutes. Right on. Car repair is what your sister is for. You'll stick to making art. Yeah. 2 pliers and a bunch of circles can. 2 pliers and a bunch of circles can make. Sorry, keep going, brother. Max. 8.5 million, Max. I think that's at the price we came to. That's what my dignity costs. For me to spend, I don't know how many hours at this point. Let's see here. What's 16, it's 87. It's 29 times 4. It's probably around 120 hours. Mathematically, it should only be 91, 92 hours. But that's not the case. No eat. No eat, brother. $8.5 million will get me shiny new pearly whites, and I won't care about my dignity because I'll have $8.5 million. But yeah, no, okay, so I knew that when the mechanic told me that sometimes the flywheels just fall apart, I knew he was full of crap. I was like, no, that's not. You can just put my truck back together and I'll come pick it up, is what I told him. Right? And I called my brother-in-law and I was like, yeah, these guys are yanking my chain over here. I need you to work on my truck. And then the other mechanic was like, oh, wait, we can work this out. And bastards. So I don't have any desire to take my truck to anyone in town. There's probably 1 or 2 places nearby that do fine work. But I prefer to go to my brother-in-law because he's always fixed my vehicle and I've never had any issues. But my check engine light came on. I feel like I'm yelling over this music. My check engine light came on, and as I was coming home from chaperoning my kids' field trip a week and a half ago now, I was passing someone, and it felt like my rear tires were slipping as I was going around the other vehicle. So, and that's when the check engine light came on as I was accelerating. I have no idea what that could be. It was like the engine was misfiring and the power of the wheels was skipping. So, it's probably the transmission. I don't know. I already put $4,000 into the truck earlier this year, replacing the timing chain. So I will find out tomorrow what is going on with the truck and report back to you all. It is what it is. Truck's 13 years old. I've replaced so much, soon I'm going to have a brand new truck. Oh, if only old vehicles worked that way. I look at it like this. I have to keep my truck running because I can't afford a new truck, despite the fact that the amount of money I am putting into my truck each year is getting more and more. because to replace my truck is over double what I paid for it originally. And I do not want a new car payment. That's the one thing I don't have. Every other debt you can imagine. Well, I don't have school loans. Credit card debt, mortgage, pretty much. So once I battle that out, it's like I'm not worried because I just got a job. Things will be fine. I still don't want a car payment on top of that. Plus, I get a company car. So that'll be nice. Which I can use within reason to do things like pick my kid up from school and drop him off and go get groceries. So that's nice. It's like, as long as I can drop my kid off and pick him up from school and I'm home with him to help him do his homework. That was my only parameter for me going back into the job market. And it just happened to work out, so far everything seems on the up and up. We'll see how things go in the future. But I have high hopes. I think it's gonna, knock on wood, I think it's gonna work out just fine, I hope. So other than that, I am shadowing someone else tomorrow. A physical therapist. And I've got a doctor's appointment. And then more shadowing, more death by PowerPoint stuff. Because okay, when it comes to the PowerPoint presentations, right? This stuff is so riveting. You wouldn't believe it. It's all instructions on how to go about following Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Because a lot of the patients on home health are Medicare patients. So the company, in order to accept Medicare, Medicaid money, they have to abide by the rules, the guidelines, the laws set forth by CMS. Right? Let me tell you, they're just page turners, you know? Nothing like reading a bunch of information on how to follow certain regulations. And to my credit, I've only actively fallen asleep while sifting through these presentations once. So I'm getting through them. And here's the fun part. I'm a new hire, so I have to go through all these modules, all these trainings now, and then the new year, January 1st, I get to go back through all of them again. It's like a refresher course 2 months later. It'll be fine. I've done less exciting stuff in my life. Can't think of what, but I'm sure I was in the Army, so I know I've done less exciting stuff. Tiny Chef, how you doing? What am I making? Organized Chaos. This is a moderately sized chainmail jelly cube. If you give me a second, I'll hold it up for you. So if you look, you can see each ring has 4 rings going through it, and it's essentially a large fidget toy. They're fun. How are you tonight? So one of many things you can make with chainmail. One of the sculptures that I was thinking about making. I've been thinking about it, how I'm going to go about doing it, and I think I finally have come up with a plan for it, so it's going to be interesting. See if I can pull it off. Wow, that's dedication. Yeah. It's quite a grind. Once you get used to the grind of some of these larger projects when it comes to making chainmail, it's, you know, it's like it doesn't matter if I'm going to work on this project or that project. I'm still just opening rings, weaving them, and then closing them. So if I can do that for a long period of time, I can make something like this, or a shirt, or a 30-pound cube, or I don't know. It's not fun to get through, it's not fun to go through it. Like, there are many times throughout the day where I'm just like, why can't these rings just weave themselves, you know? Like, I know what they need to do. Why can't they just do it? And I feel like Merlin in The Sword in the Stone, the Disney movie, when he has to pack up all his belongings and he waves his wand and all his belongings, like, shrink down into a suitcase or something. It's like, why can't I figure out how to do that so that I can finish this project and move on to the next one? But maybe I will train one of those robots that Musk just unveiled. They got 2 hands. That's all I need. 2 hands. Train him to weave chainmail for me. It's like I've talked about the machine-made chainmail manufacturing before, and how I think that eventually someone's going to figure out how to program a machine to weave a bunch of different chainmail weaves, right? And I just think it's the natural progression of technology. But if you got, 2 hands and some kind of AI model to train, can you train it to make chainmail? I don't know. Probably. Yeah, you saw one serving a beer. Rob, how you doing? I just fill my basement with, these half robots, just torsos, arms, and a head, just weaving. 3D printing. I've seen 2 3D printed cubes. One was getting there, and the other one, they had 3D printed the rings and put it together themselves. That was pretty cool. I don't think they 3D printed the whole thing in place. I didn't ask. But that person was hanging out the other day on stream, and but yeah, and they have 3D printed chainmail that they make, and it's pretty cool. But they are only making European 4-in-1, from what I can tell, and I've seen the 2 cubes, right? So we've got a long way to go to get to some of the more advanced chainmail weaves out there, if they're going to be 3D printed ever. And they have metal 3D printing, so if you can 3D print metal chainmail, like, I think it's just going to end up happening. Someone's going to get bored and is just going to perfect the process. Someone with more know-how than me. I just know how to use my pliers to make chainmail. I don't. I could probably figure out how to 3D print some more advanced chainmail weaves, but I've only ever used 3D software for print items like hoodies and cloaks and stuff like that. All the stuff on my website, right? Like I did all the designs on the computer. So if I can do them in 3D software, I could probably do them in 3D print software, I would assume. But I don't have a 3D printer. It is something I want to add to my basement workspace. We'll get there one day. Come here. And I know a lot of people in the chainmail community, they don't like the idea of machine-made chainmail, 3D printed or otherwise, whether it's a, like a wire coiling machine or robots with two hands weaving rings. It's, it's icky to them. And I get it. Handmade chainmail is best chainmail, right? But like, our opinions on the matter are kind of irrelevant. Someone's going to figure it all out and probably be pretty successful at it, so. Thank you for the follows. Appreciate you. We're going to finish up this layer here. Then only 1,800 more rings plus. I think we'll be okay. I think we have enough rings. But if we don't, that would not surprise me. Like these rings here on this lid, right? These rings in the coffee can. Like that's it. That's all I got left. So we're close. It's a real nail biter. Yeah, first there was the foam, EVA foam chainmail that the cosplay community was utilizing, which are, it's not chainmail at all, it's just strips of these loops that once you cut them out, you could interlock them and make something very close to what chainmail looks like, and then you could texture it and paint it and all that cool stuff. And then someone resin printed chainmail, like a sheet of European foreign one. And I only ever saw resin printed 3D chainmail. I don't think I've seen it printed on PLA. Is that the other material? One of the other materials? Whatever the method is that's not resin printing. I don't know enough about 3D printing to know these terms, but I don't think I've seen anyone use like an Ender 3 to make a chainmail pattern. It's probably out there. Someone has probably done it. I just haven't seen it. Right? And I know that there is machine-made chainmail in abundance out there. Your little welded European foreign one chainmail mesh that they use for butcher gloves and aprons and shark suits and other cool things. That's been around for a while. I have a butcher glove from back in the day that I got from my uncle. Pretty cool family heirloom. I'm not like technically related to him. He's my aunt's second husband. And his kids, and he had kids before he met my aunt. My aunt had kids before he met him, and I don't think they had any kids together, so. But his name's Rich. He's a nice guy. It was his father's butcher glove. And he gave it to me because I make chainmail. So it was a nice gift. I do want to own a Neptunic shark suit one day. I will never go scuba diving. And you'll never see me swim with sharks. And shark suits are about $7,500. But as someone who's been making chainmail for a long time now, I definitely am a collector. So there are pieces out there that I want. Like I have no use for the chainmail shoes that they make. I don't know if you guys have seen those. You can buy like a cheap set off AliExpress. It's like $40 or something. And then there's a company in the UK that sells chainmail shoes with padding on the bottom. Or foot pads, I guess. Hard to explain. And they want like $500 for them. And it's like, yeah, okay. I get it. It's a unique thing. I'll pay $500 for some shoes that I'll never wear just to have them. Then there's a company called Mailtech. Mailtech actually makes the chainmail for the Neptunic shark suits. And they make a lot of really cool stuff too. Like chandeliers made from chainmail. They'll have like a light fixture with a bunch of chainmail wrapped around it is kind of what it looks like. So that'd be cool to have. Something from them. Aside from a Neptunic shark suit, which is from them, but also from Neptunic. And I've got a couple jewelry pieces from other chainmail artists, and I've got one inlay from one of my chainmail friends. I'd like more. So I would like some of the EVA foam chainmail lookalike stuff. Just to have it, you know? Because it's an evolution in the process of creating chainmail for a specific community, namely the cosplay community, but no reason not to add it to the collection. The one, I don't know how many people I've seen print the resin printed chainmail. But there was one person who printed a bag. They made a dice bag or something. And I asked them, I was like, you know, how much for you to print me one? And they're like, oh, I only sell the instructions. It's like, buddy, I don't have a 3D printer. And I'm not going to go buy one just to print this thing. I want to give you money so that you make me one. And they said no. And I understand having to do that. I myself spend a lot of time telling people that I can't take on their project just because I don't have time. So I get it. But you would think a mass production with 3D printing was kind of like the goal, right? You'd think they'd make more than one. But I guess not. I don't know. Everyone else with a 3D printer that I know prints all the things and has them all for sale all the time. So I guess that's where my misunderstanding lies. It's like I'm not a purist, right? Machine made, 3D printed, handmade, new, old. It's like I like all of it. Because the more chainmail there is in the world, the more people know about it. The more people know about it, the more people go learning more about it and how to make it. And then they stumble across my store and they buy stuff from me because I have awesome stuff. As far as chainmail themed apparel and accessories go. So I like it all. I don't discriminate just because your chainmail's made by a printer. Excuse me. What's everybody else working on tonight? During Arts and Crafts Hour. I'm fortunate enough that my kid is old enough to do his thing. I do have to go harass him every now and then to make sure that he doesn't start thinking too highly of himself, that he's too good to hang out with his old man. But for the most part, he's just chilling, doing his thing. When he was little, I definitely could not have done this. He required far too much oversight. Oh, you know what I have to do? I have to go. I've got to take him to like Spirit Halloween or something. And I need to get him Sean, how you doing? I need to get him a Halloween costume because this Friday he's got a little get together after school out at a park with a fire and some s'mores, and I gotta remember to do that. So, let's see here. Doctor's appointment, pick him up from school, go get a costume. Gotta remember, gotta remember to do that. And it's in the invite, like, they said, oh, we're gonna make s'mores out in the woods. And then it said, bring your own s'mores ingredients. What? Okay. The one time a year we use graham crackers and marshmallows. I'm not worried about the chocolate. The chocolate will go. But the marshmallows will go stale. And the graham crackers will sit in the pantry until who knows when. Next Halloween? Whatever. It's an opportunity to get my kid out of the house. It's outside. That's actually on Friday. So I won't be here Friday night for sure. I've got other stuff to do. I need to remember that I RSVP'd yes to that event. It's in my calendar. And oh man, since I started this new position, my calendar is full. I've got stuff every day. Which is good, keeps me busy, but there's a lot to get done, so. Oh man, other than work, I don't have much else going on. Work and doctor's appointments. It's like this is so 3. Yeah. 3 more layers, and then this is done. 13 and a half, 14 and a half, 15. Yeah. So we're getting somewhere. And then it'll go and sit on my bar, and I'll throw my rubber band ball away. And once I finish this cube and this cube, which was a commission, I'm not making cubes for a while. They're fun, they're cool, I'm good. It's like, I just did my 30-pound sculptural cube before I tackled this project, and I had already had a chunk of this made. And between the 42,000 ring 30-pound cube project and this 18,000 plus cube, I'm just, I'm over it for a while. So I want to, what I want to do, right, is get some titanium rings and put them together into a cube and then anodize them so that it's a pretty color. It's like I'm not good with colors, right? Part of the reason why you don't see me working with a lot of anodized aluminum. I have in the past, and I've tried, and most of what I tried did not work out. So, black and gray, bronze and steel, brass and steel, and just plain steel or just plain aluminum, I'm good with. Right? I don't want to mix bronze and brass. It just seems to look like a turd whenever you mix those two. Whatever you make out of it. Oh, so I don't mix those two. Oh, excuse me. But I think, excuse me, a cube out of titanium, dull gray titanium, and then anodized to whatever color. I think that would go over a lot better with me than trying to buy rings that are already anodized and then weave them together into some pattern or something. So now that one of the things I want to add is a power supply to anodize titanium. Here, I'll do it on stream eventually. So that'll be fun. I actually have 2 pieces made from titanium ready to anodize right now that have been waiting on a power supply, or waiting for me to buy a power supply. And that was one of those goals that I had. I was hoping to have one by the end of the year. I still might. We'll see how this job works out, but power supply to anodized titanium, a coil and cutting setup to cut my own rings, a setup to rivet rings, a die set to stamp rings with patterns. That'll be fun. I don't know what else. It's like, for the last 2.5 years, I've had all the time to pretty much do whatever I want. And so I spent 400 hours playing Tears of the Kingdom, and then made a bunch of chainmail, which I'm glad that I got the chainmail done. I'm happy with finishing up a number of these projects. But many of them are very large projects, and it's, a grind to get them done, and I want to do other things instead of cleaning up my mess from the past. But if I clean up my mess from the past, I'll have all those projects out of the way, which is actually the problem, is that they're taking up space. They're taking up valuable workspace, and I could be doing other things with that space, aside from it being piled up with unfinished projects from my past. So, gotta work through it. And it builds character, right? Right? Isn't that what Calvin's dad said to him every time he had to do something he didn't like? It builds character. It's like, I've got enough character already. Are you guys old enough to have read Calvin and Hobbes and Spaceman Spiff? Hobbes is a tiger, a cartoon tiger. Thanks for sharing the stream. Appreciate you. Oh, during one of my classes today, the company I work for is Nationwide. Not Nationwide, the company, but it is all over the United States, right? And so the class involved people from, is on Zoom, involved people from all over the U.S. And one of the nurses was from Asheville, North Carolina. And she was, like, hi, I'm here. I'm having trouble maintaining connection. We're still recovering from the hurricane that just hit us. And the instructor of the class had, like, her son and his wife and kids lived out there. So that was, like, I don't know, distressing. It's like, I have empathy for the people who have gone through what happened. Absolutely. Right? But I'm up in Wisconsin. I am many degrees of separation away from it. So it's really not in my world outside of the news. Right? And that's just a normal human reaction to anything that goes on. It's not in your neck of the woods. It didn't happen to you, your friends, family, neighbors, whatever. It is just something that happens. And you feel bad about it, but like there's, you feel helpless. There's nothing you can do. And so you're not going to, you don't let the anxiety of the situation get to you because like it's not, it happened, but it happened to someone else. Right? And so that's how I have reacted. But to meet people who have gone through it, It's like, oh my gosh, you poor thing. I feel so bad for you. Right? Like that empathy comes out when you meet someone who's actually going through the thing. It's like when they evacuated New Orleans and we started getting a bunch of people. A lot of them went to Houston, but a lot of them came to San Antonio as well. And you would meet them while you were out on the town. It's like, oh, that's, your entire home was destroyed? I'm so sorry to hear that. That's awful. I was actually close enough in proximity to the result of Katrina to have that impact my life, and Rita, the follow-up hurricane. But I was in the Army. I lived in the barracks. We didn't have any flooding where I was at. Just some downed power lines and trees, and so we were out of power for a week. But other than that, I think one of the so before we came home from my first deployment, we were going back, and I was stationed in Fort Polk, Louisiana, right? And one of the news articles that we came across that hit the news was that a tiger had gotten loose around and been seen on Fort Polk, right? And this was happening like the week we were coming back. I do believe that they eventually found that tiger that got loose. It's like, this is back in 2005. So before Tiger King and the realization of how many big cats are living as people's pets in different areas. Some like more tigers live in captivity in the United States than exists in the wild or something. There's some crazy statistic like that. I don't know if it's true. I've just heard it. But yeah, on our way back to good old Fort Polk in Leesville, Louisiana. Like, oh yeah, tiger's loose on post. It's been spotted over here and over there, or wherever it was. That's just what I need. Like, survive Iraq just to get home and get eaten by a tiger. But I'm fairly certain they caught it. I believe I remember hearing that. Maybe that's just something I tell myself to make me feel better about there being a large jungle cat stalking troops on Fort Polk. But back to what I was saying. Yeah, so today, met some people who were dealing with what happened in Asheville, in North Carolina, and they were like struggling to maintain connection to go through the class, and the event is very distant from me, right? But when you meet someone who's gone through it, it's just like a very different emotional reaction, I guess. Ow, my eyeball. I don't want to get aluminum in my eye. Renee, thank you. How you doing? I did. I got my hair cut. I'm going to have to... I usually wear a hat all the time. And I wear a beanie during the winter and a baseball cap during the summer. And I don't worry about my hair. But now that I have a job, I have to look quasi-professional. And I'm not going to go into a patient's home or where they live in a facility wearing a baseball cap. So I had to make myself look presentable. All right. What bracelets am I wearing? I've got this dual Byzantine bracelet here with the slider beads and skull and spades with a buckle clasp on there. I've got a JPL5 that I picked up from Masterlinks Mail when he came and vended the... Oh, it was a dealer event at the local Harley shop. We've got a single strand of Byzantine. It's just a, what do you call it? Claspless. And then this interwoven 4-in-1 cuff bracelet. And I have my single strand of Byzantine style bracelet. It's got some slider beads on there. I've got I'm going to have to stand up for my left hand. I've got this Kinged Vipera Barus that I got from Sassy Lass Studios at the Oddities and Curiosities Expo. And I got a half Persian claspless, and then this Byzantine cuff. That's Then I'm wearing a full Persian chain that I usually wear around my neck daily. So excuse me. They all look great. Thank you. The two wide cuffs used to have clasps on them, and then I realized that it really didn't work that way very well. So I just made them into a bangle style bracelet. Yeah, the half Persian one is square wire. This is me using up rings that are laying around. So I like the look of square wire. It's definitely a different, it's different than your round wire rings, and it makes, I don't know, it adds some flash to your pieces. So I definitely recommend experimenting. All right, we're on the second layer of the 14th row. 3 layers to go. 1,800 rings. Hopefully we finish this week. 1,800 rings plus, right? At 200 rings an hour is like 9 hours plus. So we probably still have more than 10 hours to go on this. You've been reluctant to weave stuff in square wire because somewhere you read that the ID and the AR changes, and I sort of don't want to deal with that. It does. Yeah. So because it's square, it's not a gauge, right? The size is different. The way it behaves is different. So you can't take an aspect ratio that was created for round wire rings and then apply it to square wire rings. That is true. Right? But some of the stuff is close. Like most weaves are not super aspect ratio sensitive, right? Most. There are some though that are definitely. Like jelly cubes. 2.55 to 2.75. I think is what I've seen, what I've read. The aspect ratio for cubes. For a good cube with a nice jelly effect, right? You're about to start your jelly cube? Right on. But if you order, let's see, what is that? Okay, I can't go off of the rings that I have in front of me, even the ones I'm wearing, right? Because all the sizes have changed. All the square wire rings I have are from the Ring Lord, the initial batch that they had, how their square wire rings started, kind of evolved over time. Like this is the initial, right, square wire. The corners are kind of sharp. This is later on square wire from them, and the corners are pretty dull. And I think that this is what I got from them recently, right? And you can see the corners of the square wire are pretty sharp on that. And I think that this is the style that they still do. I'm not sure about all their ring sizes. And also, they changed the sizing of their rings about a decade ago now. So all the stuff I have, if I gave you the ring size for this bracelet right here, I don't know that you could make the half Persian 4-in-1 that I've made right here. I think you could, but I don't know if it translates to what they offer now. Does that make sense? Just ordered from Josh. He read a Facebook group that some people do stainless steel core for the weight and anodized aluminum on the outside for the colors. I've heard of people doing aluminum cores like this and then putting colored anodized aluminum on the outside. You can do a stainless core. All you got to make sure of is that the aspect ratio of the rings on the inside and the colorful rings on the outside match. So the Persian is so great. Thank you, Typho. How you doing? What's going on, man? Yeah, half Persian 4-in-1, fairly beginner level weave. It can be a headache, but once you get it, you get it. And you make a lot of cool stuff with it. Good, started doing the Persian and love it. Right on. Very cool, very cool. Yeah, I want to add some more to my necklace here. It's just big enough to go over my head, and it always gets caught on my nose or something. I want to add it's about 2 feet right now. I want to add another 6 inches to it and put a pendant on it. Oh, okay. Breaking news. If, nobody probably knows this. Okay. I am a pretty big Boondock Saints fan. I've got the movie poster up in my basement here. And I've had that for like 20 years. 20 plus years, right? I've got the collector's edition of the movie. I've got 1 and 2. Okay. Boondock Saints never got a theatrical release nationwide, I guess. And now they're getting one. And nobody probably cares about this but me. But yeah, if you've never seen Boondock Saints, you should go and see it in theater. It's an awesome movie. The second one is okay. It's all right. And now they're making a third one. So we'll see how that goes. What is your opinion on weaving and specifically wearing brass? I don't. There needs to be a third. They're making a third according to what Troy Duffy was saying on his video earlier today that I came across on TikTok. So we'll see how that goes. I'm ready for a third. I'm hoping that the second is just what it is and that the third is as good as the first. But if you've never seen Boondock Saints, you can go see it in theaters sometime in the near future. It's an awesome movie. I love it. Sweet. Missing Rocco, though. Yep. I want to quote lines from the movie, but that's a community guidelines violation. Okay, so wearing brass. It's going to turn your skin green. Pretty much, period. Jeweler's brass, regular brass. It turns your skin green. It's what it does. So, I know people who've made pendants out of it, and it looked really good. Yeah, like 90% of the movie. Yeah. Rooster Bear, how you doing? I'm making a moderately sized chainmail jelly cube. It's thousands of rings woven together into a pattern called Japanese 4-in-1. That is one layer on top of the next. And you build it up. And eventually you get this sweet, sweet jelly cube. And then you go like this with it and impress people online. That is what I'm making. That's how I get the chicks. All right. You know what else I realized? Speaking of movies, okay. If movies in the vein of Boondock Saints, okay? Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Just go to IMDb and watch all of Guy Ritchie movies. All the movies he's directed, right? And then you'll get a feel for what kind of movies I like. He did Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels. He did Snatch. Is it called Revolver? I think it's called Revolver. I'd have to look it up. It's got, what's his name? It's an Italian dude that played in a ton of movies and just recently passed away in the last year or two. Blue-eyed guy, pockmarked face. Damn it, what is his name? Anyway. Nice, thank you. I'll remember it once the stream is over. But yeah, basically, all the Guy Ritchie movies. Just go watch them. Okay? And then you'll be like, oh, Sean likes that movie. Well, I found out that The Gentleman, which I've only seen clips of, is a Guy Ritchie movie. And I did not know that he had made a new movie. So, about some gangsters in the UK selling the devil's lettuce or something. I don't know. So, that is probably the next movie I'll watch. And if you've never seen Snatch or Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, you should go watch those. Snatch has Brad Pitt and Jason Statham in it as headliners. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels has Sting in it. He plays the kid's dad. I don't know. They're good movies. They're funny. They're very, very adult, very inappropriate. Like I said, if I repeated the lines on there, I'd get a community guidelines violation. So be forewarned, they're not kid friendly. Oh, and you know what? Here's a pro tip. If they're making Boondock Saints 3, right? Someone who was smart, not me, but someone, would make Boondocks 3 style stuff and advertise it. Don't just rip them off, just, similar stuff. Uncut Gems, I think is the name of the movie with Adam Sandler. It's the one you've been meaning to watch. Some raw stone, risk of stone cutting, end value, and such hype. Yeah, I actually heard that was one of Adam Sandler's best movies. I have yet to see that one. Like, didn't he win a bunch of awards for that? But I've never seen that one either. I'm not, I like watching movies. I'm the type of person who, I will go and I will completely suspend reality and just believe whatever is on the screen is happening. Right? I've never been a critic of movies. It's not how my mind works. Right? So, when you watch a movie and then later on you hear someone criticizing it and pointing out some kind of obvious flaw in the movie that couldn't have worked, I'm not the type of person to have ever thought about that while I'm watching the movie. I believe in the movie magic, and however it happens, happens. And so I have to, in order for me to really enjoy a movie, it's quiet theater or watching it by myself at home. And that I'm never home by myself, so. But my kid's almost old enough. I'll show him Rambo and Terminator and Predator and As It Should Be. Yeah. First time he'll try to enjoy it like a kid hearing the story for first time rewatches you start to pick things apart. No, that's fair. And here's an example, right? Avatar, the one with the blue people, right? When that came out in theaters, I just went to go watch that in theater. It's a cool experience, and I did absolutely no critical thinking about it. I just watched these people struggle against, the military-industrial complex, right? But, there's obviously flavors of environmentalism in there, and it's I didn't think about any of that. I just enjoyed the movie. It's Fifth Element's on. I think my kid's already seen Fifth Element. That one is required in our house. And I've at least got that one on DVD. Never have I ever been more grateful for having a relatively large DVD collection. It's not huge. It's 400 movies. And not all of them are great movies or anything, but I've got some good ones. I'm missing a lot of good ones. I don't have a physical copy of The Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. Right? I've got those on Vudu. But I have several. I've got, I don't know, I'm trying to think of it. The Last Samurai on DVD. That's a good one. Fifth Element. 300. Boondock Saints. What else have I got? You know what? I don't think I... No, I do. I own Braveheart. Yes, I definitely own Braveheart. I'll have to go through my DVD collection. I was like, in this era of streaming, I can go to any of the streaming platforms at any given time, and none of the... You know, what do you pay for Amazon Prime? $90 a year? I don't pay for it. She does. And you go on there and there's nothing to watch. It's like, yeah, you can watch some of the stuff. Or Netflix. Netflix has put out some good stuff, but the bulk of stuff on there is... It's not great, you know? It's filler. The Die Hard collection, we watch that. What I watched, I went through like all the Lethal Weapons the other day. It's like I watched Bird on a Wire, and then all the Lethal Weapons. I was just sitting there watching movies all day. So I'm trying to think. What other essential... It's like I'm still trying to work through the kids' movies with my kid. He just watched Uncle Buck, right? The wife's a big John. I forget the director's name. The guy that did Uncle Buck, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Home Alone, right? Breakfast Club. All those movies based around Chicago. So she's a big fan of those movies. I didn't grow up watching any of those movies. But like, have I ever made an animal? No, I have not. I have friends who do little animal sculptures, like ducks, a lot of ducks. But I'm trying to work through my backlog of projects, and sadly, learning how to do those is far, far away. Hi, is it Tito? How you doing? No. I've wrapped a lot of stuff in chainmail. I've added chainmail to a lot of stuff, and I've done some shirts and a motorcycle vest and chainmail cat. You could be the reason why it exists. I won't say too much, but I do have something in that theme planned. Lord knows when I'll get to it, right? But a lot of people make little chainmail cat ears. I don't. Not something I've ever been interested in making or asked about. But a lot of people do it. I don't know if anyone's made a chainmail cat. We've seen spiders. I've seen octopi. I've seen ducks, pigs, owls, and I don't know what else. Sword in the Stone, Black Cauldron, The Last Unicorn. We watched The Last Unicorn when he was little. And what is it? Is it Captain Nemo? he was little when we watched that too. Legend. I've actually got Legend on DVD. I might even have The Last Unicorn on DVD. Now you know what? I don't think I do. Quest for Camelot. No, I don't think I have that one. I don't know if I've seen The Black Cauldron. I don't think I have. And I don't think I have. I don't have Quest for Camelot. And I don't think I've seen it. I have only come to the realization that that was a movie along the lines of like The Last Unicorn, The Dark Crystal kind of movies that everyone in the 80s and 90s watched as kids. I just missed those two. So, the Last Starfighter. That's a good 80s movie. They were so good. I'll have to check them out. I mean, I've seen The Last Unicorn and Legend, but not those other two. So, and he was big into The Last Airbender. He liked that. And then he was big into Dragon Ball Z for a while. And then One Piece. And so there's some like more modern pop culture stuff that he's gotten into. It's just there's a gap. Like he's seen The Princess Bride, but he was really too little, you know. So I gotta show him more movies to complete his education. All right, everybody. It is getting on 10 o'clock here. I do have job now. I have job. And tomorrow's a school day, so my kids gotta go to school. Sandlot, that's a good one. We've watched Sandlot and The Goonies. The kids build a race car from a washing machine. I don't know if I've seen that one. Hogan's Heroes. I don't know where you would even like. You would have to buy it on DVD to get Hogan's Heroes. Okay, so it is getting late. We are on. This is finishing up the 14th layer here. This section here. So, most of 3 layers to go, and then we'll be done. And I think we're going to make it. I think. We'll see. We'll find out together what's going to happen. But it is 10 o'clock. And I do have to get up tomorrow morning. So, if you see this and you like what I'm doing, and you want to make chainmail at your house, you can do this too. The best way to get started is to open up the link tree in my bio. Inside, you'll find an Amazon affiliate shop where I have a bunch of plier recommendations. The Chainmail Joe beginner kit is in there. It's a great beginner kit. It comes with a bunch of different ring sizes, a tutorial booklet on what weaves you can make with those ring sizes. You can add pliers to it, and it doesn't cost you any more to get it from my affiliate link. Amazon just gives me a little cut. And I'm trying to get my first $100 in my Amazon affiliate store. I'm at how much is it? $19.73? I think is how much I've made so far. So I'm trying to get to $100. So be sure to check out that first shop link in my link tree. The next link is the Mailworks app. Inside the Mailworks app, we have lists of chainmail ring suppliers where there's about 15 or 16 of them. Each one's a little bit different. They provide a little bit different stuff, but the bulk of it's your anodized aluminum, your anodized titanium, your stainless steels, your brass, bronze, coppers, silver, all that good stuff. So there's your source to get rings from. There's inside the app, there's also where to find tutorials, tool recommendations, where to find where other chainmail artists hang out at, and much more, right? The rest of my link tree is my other social media accounts. If you would follow me on those, I would greatly appreciate it. It's the best way to help me grow as a content creator, as a streamer. Follow me on all my platforms, except for Instagram. Don't follow me there because that's locked up. I don't know what's going to happen to that account. I don't know if I have to make a new one or if Instagram's going to unlock it. But right now, it is proven impossible to regain control of my Instagram account, and it was just beginning to pop up. I had just crossed 10,000 people on that account, so I'm very sad that I didn't have two-factor authentication on, even though I did on my other accounts. So anyway, my mistake not to do that. I will correct it in the future. But yeah, follow me on YouTube, Twitch, X, Facebook, all under the same username. Other than that, I'm usually here 8 to 10 most nights a week. As I've said, I've started a new job, so we don't know what the streaming situation is going to look like, but I will be here as often as possible. And, come back and check on our progress as we get stuff done around here. And I will see you guys later. All right? You all have a wonderful evening. Have a good night. Where's my button? Why won't this? Oh no, that. Oh, I know why. I had the volume on, and I was just like raising and lowering the volume like an idiot. All right, good night, everybody. You all have a good one. Bye bye.